Hey there, I'm the MadCatster. Am I glad to see you here? Well, if you thought the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial had some drama, you haven't seen the trial that's going on now with Todd Chrisley and his wife and their tax fraud trial in federal court down in Georgia because something's been let out of the closet and we're going to talk about it right now. Well, I am here with Sybil the Enforcer, and as usual, she says, I'm wide awake and watching all of you, and if you're not subscribed, why aren't you subscribed? Please subscribe. We want you to join our community. It'll make Sybil very happy, and she's purring away right now in anticipation. So like, subscribe, and join our channel. And we're going to talk about some shady stuff right now. So the Chrisleys, who are probably best known for their show Chrisley Knows Best, were accused back in 2009 and 10 of committing both tax fraud and also fraud on financial institutions. And the grand jury handed down indictments, which is why the trial is now going on in Atlanta. It started last Monday. And this is a little bit of what the indictment has to say. It says from as early as 2008 through 2012, Todd and Julie Chrisley, together with an individual known as co-conspirator A, controlled a Georgia company named Chrisley Asset Management, which earned millions of dollars in commissions and fees from managing foreclosed properties that were later sold to third parties. Todd and Julie Chrisley also owned a number of other companies, including Chrisley and Company, which was a Georgia company that they used to receive their income from Chrisley Asset Management. Right away, we're starting to hear that sounds a little fishy. Beginning in 2013, Todd and Julie Chrisley controlled a company named Seven Seas Productions. In July 2013, Seven Seas Productions was registered with the Georgia Secretary of State as a Georgia corporation. Julie Chrisley was later listed as the company's chief executive officer. In 2016, Seven Seas Productions was registered with the Tennessee Secretary of State as a Tennessee corporation. Beginning in approximately 2014, Todd and Julie Chrisley, together with various family members, starred in the reality television show Chrisley Knows Best and appeared on other television and radio programs. A television production company produced Chrisley Knows Best and paid the Chrisleys and other family members for their work on the show. Todd and Julie Chrisley used Seven Seas Productions as a loan out company, which was a common way for actors and entertainers to be paid for their services. Over the years, various entertainment and production companies paid millions of dollars to Todd and Julie Chrisley, the vast majority of which was deposited into Seven Seas Productions' bank account. Then it talks about the tax fraud. It says, Todd and Julie Chrisley did not timely submit tax payments to the IRS when filing Todd Chrisley's 2009 tax return or their joint 2011-2012 tax returns. At a certain point, the IRS placed Todd and Julie Chrisley in collection status for unpaid federal income taxes. These collection actions were stayed from the time that Todd Chrisley entered bankruptcy proceedings in 2012 until the bankruptcy action was discharged in 2015. Afterwards, IRS revenue officers filed liens or levies in counties in which Todd and Julie Chrisley lived or owned property in attempts to collect the back taxes owed. Todd and Julie Chrisley did not timely file federal income tax returns or submit timely tax payments for 2013, 2014, 2015, or 2016 tax years. So, it says that the grand jury found that Todd and Julie Chrisley did knowingly and willfully combine, conspire, confederate, agree, and have a tacit understanding with each other and co-conspirator A to execute a scheme and artifice to defraud multiple financial institutions, the deposits of which were insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and to obtain money, funds, and credits owned by and under the custody and control of these financial institutions by means of materially false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises, and by omission of material facts in violation of Title 18 of the United States Code, Section 1344. And this included submitting false materials such as fabricated bank statements, false personal financial statements to financial institutions to obtain millions of dollars in loans, much of which they used for their own personal benefit. Now, can you tell me why all of these people that we talk about who have all of this success and financial gain always end up with some sort of a scam or a scheme and end up defrauding people, breaking the law, etc.? It just boggles my mind. It seems like the more money you get, the more corrupt it makes you. And I think that's probably why they say that money is the root of all evil. But anyways, I think it's more a case of not having good ethics and proper financial management. But anyways, so this all led to the indictment being handed down. The Chrisleys are now on trial. They are not in jail, but this is a criminal trial. And apparently, this former business associate of Todd Chrisley's, with whom he apparently had an illicit relationship, had tipped off the feds that this fraud was going on. Talk about revenge for being scorned, I guess. But it was his information that led to this all coming down. And of course, he's now a star witness. And because he was a business associate with the Chrisleys, the feds have given him immunity, which means he can testify without worrying about getting charged with any crimes. And so he's able to tell the truth and not have to worry about the repercussions. Now, the big losers, of course, are the Chrisleys. So this is what happened in court last week. So his former business partner's name is Mark Braddock. And you'll see here's a pleading that I pulled up. I pulled some pleadings off the federal court system, but he's been testifying this past week. He testified a couple days in a row. I don't know if he's coming back. And it says that Mark Braddock testified in Chrisley's ongoing federal fraud trial in Atlanta Tuesday that he and Todd were intimate for about a year in the early 2000s. After the alleged affair ended, Braddock said the two men continued a friendship until 2012 that he likened to a brotherhood. During that time, Braddock worked for Todd's foreclosure management company, Chrisley Asset Management, and he testified that they began to receive anonymous texts threatening to expose them for fraud and their alleged dalliance. Braddock testified that one text read, "Pay cash and we'll shut up," according to the report. Well, that sounds a little suspect, but anyways. So apparently they did pay. They paid 4 payments for $9,500, totaling $38,000 from his bank account, and he gave it to Todd to pay off the blackmailer. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Todd's wife, right? Anyways, so this is not the first time that rumors of Todd's sexuality have come up. Apparently back in 2017, there was some question, and Mr. Chrisley had some interesting things to say. He said that he had claimed that he was flattered that he could get something on both ends, and he joked that his wife was certainly flattered that as many men want her husband as there are women. He said, "I'm never going to have a drought." Well, I guess these good Christians have a way of laughing this stuff off. So what was really weird, though, is he said that he, to his credit, that he didn't have a problem with people being gay, and that he thought God created you the way he created you. And I mean, I totally agree with that, and I think that that's admirable. I just think it's kind of sad that if he was gay, that he had to hide it and everything. But what really disturbed me was, like, his son had been asked about it. So Kyle Chrisley, Todd Chrisley's older son, back when all of these gay rumors were going on, was asked what he thought about it. And this is what his son said. He said he doesn't care what people say about his dad, but he knows for a fact that his father isn't gay. He said, and this was his reasoning, and this is like what's so twisted, okay? "I've seen my dad post pictures of his wife and how much he loves her. He's never posted any photo or anything remotely close to anyone who is male." That's like, how bizarre is that? It's like, oh, okay. So as long as he posts pictures of him and his wife, then he can't be gay because he doesn't post pictures of men. That's like so ass backwards. Anyways, but he did admit that it was possible that Todd had had a secret gay relationship in the past. Okay, so don't get me started on that stuff. But anyways, so I have a problem with people who masquerade as good Christians and they raise all these questions, and then inevitably they end up either having some kind of criminal behavior going on in their lives, or they're in the closet, or they're having affairs, or, you know, it's like people who wave flags. It's like the bigger the flag, the less the patriot you really are, and the more you have to protest how good of a Christian you are, tells me that there's something lurking in the background that you don't want percolating out. 9 out of 10 times it ends up being true, and eventually, as they say, the truth will out. It comes up to the surface, and here we go with this Todd Chrisley trial. To Todd's credit, he clearly doesn't have self-loathing, because he's not saying the usual things you hear these people say when they're trying to repress their sexuality. But anyways, so back to the business partner. So apparently their relationship went sour and that Todd basically tossed him out of the business or locked him out of the business. So the guy's obviously bitter about all of that. And so that's what's led to him coming forward now. But apparently, when the banks finally caught up with their fraud, that's when the Chrisleys filed for bankruptcy and they walked away from $20 million in debt. And they also hid money from the IRS, which it's a big no-no. When you file for bankruptcy, you have to disclose all your assets and all your liabilities. And if you try to play any games with the IRS, they don't like that and they will come after you. And I used to work with foreclosures and bankruptcies, and it's a very, very serious offense to claim bankruptcy and then try to hide assets from your creditors. So sounds like that's what they did. And so now here we are, we're in court. Now apparently the daughter got dragged into court too, and she caused quite a commotion. And this is what it said. So his daughter took the stand in the fraud trial, and the jurors got so riled up, the article says, that they apparently had an outburst while she was on the stand. And it says reality TV couple Todd and Julie Chrisley were indicted on bank fraud and tax evasion in 2019. And their trials finally commenced this month. And what have I told you? It's like court and legal process is never what they show you on television. It always takes forever and a day to finally get your day in court. And, you know, that happened with Johnny Depp. It happens with basically any kind of major court proceeding. So it's taken several years. The trial is now finally there. And so the prosecution, I guess, was really tough on Todd Chrisley's daughter. And she was not having any of it. And apparently, jury got so riled up that there were outbursts in court. And it says, per Business Insider, 32-year-old Lindsay Chrisley defended her father's name to the letter when she took the stand. She recounted how he backed her recovery for an eating disorder. What does this have to do with tax fraud? I mean, I'm glad he's a good father, but that doesn't mean he's not guilty of tax fraud. It says, she recounted how he backed her recovery for an eating disorder in the days before his popular show, Chrisley Knows Best, even existed on the USA Network. Lindsay also claimed that he supported her brother Kyle amidst a period of addiction as well. Doesn't it always seem like these families, the kids always end up so messed up? That's why, like, when we talk about the Ace family, I really worry for the future, honestly. I worry for the future of those kids, because those kids are the innocent ones in the middle of all of the nonsense that goes on, and I just fear for what their future is going to be like. And here you can see, here's two kids of wealthy parents who are involved in show business and have some level of fame, and they've got issues going on because of, as a result, I'm sure, of all the stress that brings on. And she says that Todd Chrisley's priorities are in the order of his children and his wife. However, what got the jury to break protocol in the courtroom? Prosecution entered emails into evidence which supposedly show Lindsay Chrisley imploring the FBI for assistance in a restraining order against Todd Chrisley in the months after his indictment. In those messages, she had called her dad a monster and claimed he was trying to oh God, this is gross. That he was trying to her via threatening to release a tape of her, and she went on the Dr. Phil show to talk about that accusation. What, my God, these families. It's like, what is the matter with these people? You've got the Kardashians and the ex of her tape, and Kris Jenner apparently being behind that, where it's alleged. And he probably said, oh, look, it worked for the Kardashians. Let's release your tape and see if we can generate some fame from it. That's so gross. It just makes me, skeeves me out that people like their kids like this. It's just shocking to me. I'm serious. I cannot believe, it makes me so upset and angry, you know, that these people, I don't know what happens to them when they get a little taste of fame. It's like they go insane. So, I mean, I can understand why she's defending her father, because she probably, I'm sure, doesn't want to see him go to jail. But on the other hand, it's like, how can you defend this man if this is what you accused him of and you sought a restraining order, and now you're going into court causing this big commotion when he clearly did not have your best interest at heart? If that's true, what you're accusing him of, it's so gross. It's just so gross. So anyway, so that's where we stand. And can you believe it? But it said, I read that the network has picked up Chrisley Knows Best for another season. And it's like, with all of this going on, wouldn't you think they'd be canceled? I don't know. I guess the money's too good. It seems like that's always the thing, you know? It's like I always say, well, why doesn't YouTube crack down on the McBrooms and the Ace family? It's like, well, look at their number of followers, calculate how much ad revenue that must bring in for YouTube. Of course they're going to turn a blind eye. They don't want to shut them down. They're one of their biggest channels. They don't want to cut that revenue source off. And it's the same here, you know? The network sees Chrisley must be a cash cow for them. They don't want to shut that off, and it's probably going to take public outrage to get them to finally do it. But, you know, please, people, please speak up. It's like, that show shouldn't go on. You know, this is not some family show. If all of the stuff that's coming out and all of the indictments and everything is true, this is just, it's just disgusting, and it should not be on the air. I don't care if it is entertainment. You know, we got to start drawing the line somewhere and hold these people accountable, please. So now let's just get, I know this is serious stuff, but let's go back to being lighthearted for just a minute, because Mr. Shady doesn't like to leave people on a sour note. I want to play for you a very short clip from one of the Chrisley Knows Best episodes that I think has more than a shade of truth. And now that you know this whole story about his illicit affair, you probably will see where the tongue-in-cheek humor is in this particular clip. So watch this.
No, she down on you.
No, that wasn't funny.
Well, I got you.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm the queen of pranks.
Well, darling, I would say I'm the queen of pranks.
So what do you think of that when he says, I'm the queen of pranks? Well, that's a double entendre because, as you know, or some of you probably know, queen is a word used in the gay community to refer to flamboyant gay men. So Chrisley clearly thinks he's a queen, and I think it's pretty hysterical that he's saying that in the show, and I'm sure it went right over the heads of a lot of people. So, but anyways, just to leave it on a light note. So, you know, we'll follow along with this trial like we do everything else and see where it goes. But, you know, I never say that people should be outed. But first of all, it doesn't sound like it was that much of a secret. And second of all, if he's as big of a scumbag as he's appearing to be, you know, I think getting all of his foibles and dirty laundry out there is warranted because he should be held accountable for his sins. Not that his relationship wasn't a sin. I'm talking about the other stuff. So don't misunderstand Mr. Shady. I'm not talking about his personal relationships. I'm talking about the law breaking and the fraud and the tax evasion and the gross stuff his daughter accused him of. So anyways, there you go. Another happy Christian family exposed to the raking rays of the morning sunlight and showing all of their flaws and warts, that they are not who they pretend to be, holier than thou, because they're just like the rest of us with our faults and our problems. Theirs maybe a little bit bigger and a little more extreme, but, you know, we're all human beings, so stop judging people, is what Mr. Shady says, because they're but for the grace of God. And not only that, but we all have faults. He who lives in a glass house should not cast stones. Isn't that what it says? And Mr. Shady's not a religious man by any stretch of the imagination, but I do believe that there are some truths, and that is a truth, that don't you dare accuse other people when you know very well you're hiding dirty laundry in your own closet, literally and figuratively. So that's Mr. Shady's take. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. And like I had said before, now that we've got a really good community going and we've got momentum going, I want to move beyond the Ace family, because the Ace family is like a broken record. I'm sure they will continue to provide all kinds of stuff for us to talk about. And we're not done. And you know I'm going to Ace Fest in July, so that should be interesting. And I will be reporting on that. I will report on it from the minute I get to LA until I get my red-eye flight back. And we're going to see what this mess turns out to be. But Sybil has gone to bed. She's left me again. I gave her a raise and she's leaving me. Oh, you know, we will be having a 10,000, and we're like heading toward 11,000 already. It's amazing. But we will be having our 10,000 subscriber live stream on Monday afternoon, and I'm going to put the notice up shortly. I think I'm going to do it at 4 o'clock Eastern time on Monday. Thank you so much to all of you who have supported the channel. The Amazon Angels have been working overtime because my cats, it's like Christmas here. My cats have all kinds of new goodies, and it really brings a tear to my eye at how generous people are and how nice. And my cats are in heaven. They've got new toys and new beds, all kinds of good treats and things. And thank you so much. And thank you to my Patreon patrons. You guys are all stars. And like I had said before, all the Patreon money goes to my vet. And thank you to the channel members. We've got some more new channel members. And those of you who have bought me a coffee, thank you, because that's the only thing that's for me is the coffee. The rest of the stuff is all for the cats. And I'm looking forward to continuing to expand. You guys have sent me some great ideas. Now, don't forget, here's the address again, but catstertips@gmail.com. Send me your ideas. Send me links to shady videos or articles or things that you think that we should look into and investigate and talk about, because I'm going to continue to make content more frequently. So I need ideas from you guys so that we're not always talking about the damn Ace family. So send me your ideas. Take care of yourselves. I love all of you. I thank you so much for your support. The cats say thank you, and I will see you in the next one.
Pretty please. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell. I get a treat for every new sub. Thank you.